Welcome to another episode of Medium Well with Psychic Sharon Rose. Today we're asking, what kind of questions are good to ask a psychic? Listen in as Sharon shares some questions to ask a psychic. These range in all areas of life, romance, money, health, family, spiritual development, and more. Learning how to ask your questions right can actually assist you in receiving more clarity around any life issues you're struggling with. So let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back once again to Medium Well with Psychic Sharon Rose. Today, one of the reasons today's topic came up is because, of course, I'm doing readings all the time and I'm always talking to people on Zoom or on the phone or they come in for sessions. And a lot of times a client will come in to see me and the question I'll ask them, I'll say, what is it you're here for? What did you come to see me for? I mean, you must have had a reason for booking this appointment. And how many times clients say, I don't know, is amazing. So what it does is it makes your psychic work hard, which isn't a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Your psychic can work hard. That's okay. But what you can do to really help your reading be more productive for yourself and function better for yourself is have some specific questions in place. I'm talking about psychic work, not mediumship here, okay? So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about what kind of questions can you ask, what areas, what categories that might be concerning you, especially in the world and the environment that we're living in this today. So I want you to stick around because I have a couple of cards I'm going to share with you, oracle cards that I pulled from the Angels of Abundance, who I invited to come in and give us some guidance today. So stick around to the end and you'll be able to enjoy those cards as well. So let's just start right at the beginning. First of all, there's no guidebook. All right. The world of the psychic is really, and it's an intuitive, mystical, magical kind of place. And trust me, mystical, magical, love those words. I love those words because it really is a mystical, magical place. Somehow I find myself able to tap in, tune in, and turn on to what it is you're looking for. But only once I've identified what that is. And if you don't have a clue when you walk in here, that makes it a little bit harder. And then you're kind of wasting time in regards to you've only got so much time when you book an appointment, right? Usually they're an hour. So let's just dive right in. We also don't have guidebooks to life. We don't have anything that says this is how you maintain relationships. This is how you deal with anxiety. This is what you're going to do around health concerns. Stress is all around us. Stress is in your life. Stress is everywhere. And we don't have any kind of guide that works 24/7 for everyone. We all have to individualize for ourselves and streamline for ourselves. So if you go to see a psychic and you book an appointment, and I'm inviting you all to book with me, if you go to SharonRose.com, the website, you'll be able to get all kinds of information and you can find out who I am, what I do, how I do it. But I would invite you to book through the website. It's way easier, by the way, than phone. It's way easier than me trying to reconnect with you on phone when you call. It's easier if you use the booking form on the website. Anyway. So if you're going to a psychic for the first time, or even if it's more than your first time, come up with some questions, and the way you phrase your questions can really make a difference. So you want to make sure you're specific, and you don't want yes, no questions. You want open-ended questions, and you don't want passive. You want reassuring questions. Okay. You want to avoid passive questions. So let's go into the areas where I get a ton of questions around. And one of those is relationships. So it doesn't matter if you're trying to get over a relationship, a breakup, maybe somebody has passed, or even you're just trying to attract your soulmate. Love and relationship advice is one of the top reasons people come to talk to a psychic. Most often. Now that in my world, it seems there's a lot of career. I get a lot of career as well. But this particular area of love, some of the most popular questions that you can ask about love. So I'm going to give you just a few here, and it'll kind of give you an idea of what type of questions to ask, how to phrase them. So, what is my path to a happy and successful relationship? That's a good one. That's a really good one to ask your psychic. What should I know about my partner is another really good one. Let's say you're in a relationship and you're struggling, the relationship's having a hard time. A lot of times your psychic can tune into that relationship and find some of the areas that are not that strong. Why is my marriage suffering would be a really good one for that. How can I attract my soulmate? And your psychic usually has lots of tools, I know I sure do, that can help guide you to find that perfect person. What can I do to be a better partner is a really good question to ask. And you can ask questions like, how do I get past the divorce I just experienced or the breakup we just went through? So those are really good questions, open-ended questions to ask about love. You can ask about your career. So a question around your career could be, what should I do to get promoted? Boy, I tell you what, really honestly, I get really excited when I think about career because I love the idea that we have to put our time and efforts into a job because we earn money and money maintains our lifestyle. And I love questions about career because each and every one of us have so much skill and so much talent. And a lot of times we allow the naysayers and the poo-pooers and the bad bosses to kind of control us. So when you go to a psychic, ask questions like something like, what should I do to get promoted? What can I do to reach my career goals? And if you have certain goals that you've got in place, how can I start my own business? That's a good one. Should I change my career? It's also a really good one. And another one that really comes up a lot is around coworkers, because let's face it, you're stuck 8 hours a day inside an environment with other people that you don't choose to live with, but you are working with. And there's usually one or two people that you can really have a struggle with. So how can I get along better with my coworkers? Some people find their work-life balance is out of whack. So they could ask, how could I balance my work life better? How can I create a better work-life balance instead of always being at work or feeling like I'm just not functioning at work as well? Another area that I get a lot of questions around is money, abundance. And this is a really big one, and especially right now because people are really keen and sensitive to the fact that there's stuff going on out there and you can't help but hear about it. The simple fact of the matter is it's irrelevant to you because you create your own story and you create your own story in all ways. But if you want to go to a psychic and ask about money, now remember, a psychic isn't a financial advisor. A psychic is also not a registered psychologist. And they're not a career expert. They're psychics. And so they're using their intuitive aspect and they're tapping into you to help guide you. A psychic isn't going to replace your financial advisor by a long shot. So if you have one, keep them. Don't trust just your psychic. But they can help you understand your relationship to money. So questions like, how do I go about getting money back that's owed to me? Somebody owes you money and you just can't seem to collect the debt. How can I reach my financial goals is a really good one. Or I recently came into some money. What's the best way to manage it? Or how can my partner and I communicate better about finances? One of the biggest battles in households for couples in relationships is money. They talk about money and they have, you hear all these theories. One's a saver, one's a spender. One likes to work hard. One's more independent. One needs to have a boss. The other one doesn't want to have a boss. There's all kinds of different approaches towards how we build our financial portfolio. And two partners that are together might have very different views. So how can my partner and I communicate better about our finances? Making big purchases, houses, vacations, weddings, cars, all kinds of big purchases. What is it that you need to know? Ask your psychic, what should I know? What would help me? This is a really good question right now for more general, but what's the best way to manage my current financial situation? That's a really good one. And then questions about the future. Now, as you know, any of you that have been to see me, and if you haven't been to see me, but you're thinking about coming to see me, I do not predict the future. And any good psychic will not predict the future. However, a psychic can really help you go in the right direction for your life. So questions like, how can I prepare for my future? Those are really good. What's my sole purpose in life? I do what I call soul tracking. And soul tracking allows me to sit with my client, takes about an hour. It allows me to sit and go backwards in their life to find out why they came to this planet in the first place. And I soul track right from here now all the way back to them as a soul before they really became actively physical. Um, so, so what's my sole purpose in life? That's really fun. What do my spirit guides say about my future? And what can I do to prepare for a future move? Perhaps you've got a future move coming up in work wise, or you're looking at relocating home wise. You can ask questions around that. How can I make the best use of my time after I'm retired? It's funny because when I was an elected official years and years ago, one of the things I studied was a lot about volunteers because we worked with volunteer groups. And when somebody retires, a lot of time they want to do volunteer work or do something to keep busy because they've always had a busy life. But not everybody, what I learned then was not everybody is good at all the different types of tasks that are available for volunteering. Some people work really well right on the front lines with people. Other people are better off working behind the scenes. They're not really people oriented. They'd really rather help work inside an organization that gathers food maybe and that packages it. So how can I make the best use of my time after I'm retired? What things can I do now to ensure that I have a secure future? How can I stop worrying about the future? Those are really good questions to ask about the future. What can I do to be more successful? That's a good one right there too. Questions to ask about family. Family dynamics are hard. And I've always said that we live in contrasting environments with family. I don't believe now in my more senior years, I don't believe that we're given people in our lives to make our lives easier, like moms, dads, siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews, neighbors, children, spouses. I believe that everything comes with a level of contrast for us to learn and continue to learn and keep growing and becoming bigger and better and stronger. And so family dynamics can be really complicated, and sometimes it can be really fun to let a psychic offer unbiased advice because they're not biased. They don't know your family. So how can I get closer to my siblings? Or how can I make a more peaceful home in my home environment? Or what is the universe trying to tell me? Because I keep getting these inklings of knowing, and I feel like it's trying to tell me something about my family story or my family situation, or what does the future with my family look like? How can I make co-parenting easier? That's a really good question to ask your psychic. Or what can I do to get along better with my in-laws? Or even your family themselves. How can you connect with your family better? And then, of course, that can bring about as well, when you do talk about family to a psychic and you are in the midst of a conversation, if your psychic is also a medium, a lot of times mediumship will just spontaneously kind of happen, which has happened to me quite a bit, where people come in and they're not really looking to connect with someone who's crossed over, but they really do want some guidance around things like family. Sometimes the energies that come through, the spirit that comes through to support that question will be someone with the right answer for you and can really help the psychic as well. Questions to ask around health and wellness. What kind of questions can I ask around health and wellness? Because your psychic is never going to tell you when you're going to get sick or how you're going to get sick or that you're going to get sick, but they can guide you on the path to living a healthier lifestyle. So what can I do to have a healthy lifestyle? A good question right there. How can I improve my sleeping habits if you're not sleeping well? How can I kick the smoking habit or my craving for sugar or the gambling addiction that I've got going on? What about my diet do I need to know? How can I be less stressed in my life? Because stress brings on some health issues. Is that not correct? So you can talk about what kind of physical activities, what methods of exercise work best for me? And what changes do I need to make to stay healthy or to become healthier? It's amazing how something so simple as an unbiased opinion from someone like a psychic can really help you change the way that you've been looking at your lifestyle and make it a better one. And I've had some great results with this type of stuff. About your pets that are alive or pets that are not alive, pets that have passed. Now, I will tell you very quick, right straight up, one of the most powerful things that happens to me during mediumship readings is the pets will come through 9 times out of 10. And in fact, to the last reading that I did, it was a gentleman who his dogs came through, and it was so funny because the way that everything all transpired. And then I discovered these children, they were his children, and it was clear they were his children. They acted like his children. They acted like they knew they were his kids. He didn't have any kids. his dogs were his babies. And so when animals come through, they're so clear and it's so vivid. And I'm not really good at dog breeds, so I can just describe the dog, and then oftentimes you'll tell me what the breed is. But you can ask questions if your pet does come through, or if you want to know about a pet that's passed, you can ask the pet, do you miss me? Do you miss us? Were you happy with us? Did you have a good life? Will I ever see you again? Your pet will let you know. And they'll give you clarity that will be really quite profound, that, like something so simple as showing you once they've passed that you never, showing me, and I share with you, that you never did move their dog dish is still there, and describing the dog dish to me. So I know exactly what it looks like. And my client goes home and sure as heck, it's exactly the right colors, inside, outside, everything's the same. So things like, do you like living with us? Are you healthy? Do you feel good? Or if you've had to help your pet transition, do you forgive me? Are you mad at me because I had to help you? Is there something important you want to let me know? And do you know that we love you? And this could be to live pets or pets that have crossed. Do you know that we love you? Do you know that we care? If something's bothering you, can you let me know? How do you like that we just got a new cat, et cetera, et cetera? So these are questions you can ask your psychic, okay? Common questions to ask about just life in general. Because, sometimes we get so stuck, don't we? And sometimes we want to know what our life purpose is. So questions you can ask around life, just life in general, is, what is my life's purpose? And your psychic can tap into that. Your psychic can tap into your spirit guides. Which friendships are toxic and which ones are actually serving you well? I pick that up all the time. I have a radar with people. I don't know where it came from, but yeah, I have it. Whether they're sitting here or not, I can pick up on people that maybe are in your life that shouldn't really be there. Is there anything the universe wants me to know? Am I going in the right direction with my life? Because I feel like I'm stuck. So what changes should I make to get unstuck and reach towards my goals? Which past lives have I had that are influencing this life? That's really fun. Getting into past lives can be really, really beneficial. So that's just basically questions to ask your psychic about life. Questions about friendship. If you come with the right questions concerning friends, both old ones and new ones, you can have open-ended questions like, how do I maintain the friends I have now? I don't want to lose my friends. I want to keep them. Or how can I support my friends when they need me the most? So how can I be the best friend possible? How do I deal with saying goodbye to friends when I know they're passing, or when I'm moving, relocating? Do my friends enjoy me? Do they enjoy spending time with me? And when we do have conflict, what's the best way for me to resolve it with my energy? How can I easily resolve those conflicts? Because everybody, again, has a different way of dealing with issues. Okay, the next one would be about, say, spirituality. Now, this is also a big one in my book because we are spirit having a human experience. And our human experience is filled with contrast, conflict, and challenge. And our soul self is the guiding light for us. The challenge we have in our culture is we don't embrace spirituality, we embrace physicality. And here are some, if you want to start embracing your spiritual aspect, which is your soul, your psychic self, basically, start asking questions like, how many spirit guides do I have, and which ones are working with me now, and why? Do I have guardian angels? Are they watching over me? How can I focus on my soul advancement? How can I become a better intuitive myself? Because we all have intuition. How can I find healing, and how can I do it my way versus having to go the allopathic way? Maybe I want to just use regular methods that I can find in my kitchen or at a health food store. How do I connect with my soul self? That's a really good one. How can I reconnect with my soul? Because you were connected, and you are connected. And connecting with your spirit guides, how many do you have, et cetera, et cetera. Spirit guides is a really good one too. So, are you really ready to have a psychic reading? Is it something that you should be doing? Well, you're ready if you're willing to open up and you want judgment-free advice. and you're prepared to hear the truth. A good psychic isn't going to say what you want to hear. I've had clients that were distressed because I wouldn't tell them what they wanted me to say. I told them the truth, and they didn't like that. Very few. Most people are pretty good. But you can tell you're ready if you're willing to receive some judgment-free advice and you're really ready to hear the truth. It's a great way to learn more about yourself, and it's a great way to grow spiritually. So prepare good questions, the best questions for you to help you improve relationships and reach your goals and to be happier. And there's tons and tons of really good psychics out there that would be willing to help you. Now, I'm going to share with you the 2 cards that I pulled from the Angels of Abundance deck. This is an oracle deck that was created by Doreen Virtue. And the first one that I pulled, I started laughing because I knew what my topic was today. And it says, no more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never truly spiritual. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedoms. And with your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. Isn't that good? Don't you love it? I do. And then the second card, words of abundance. You have the ability to instantly manifest abundance by choosing powerfully positive words. Always describe your own and the world's economic situation in loving and optimistic terms. And that is what you attract for yourself and for others. It's really difficult to ignore the news, isn't it? But do ignore the news. Don't watch the news. Somebody will tell you what's going on out there, whether you ask or not. They're going to let you know. So don't watch the news, because then you don't have to go through all of that. And just see the world as a beautiful, joyful, wonderful, delightful place. I do. And I love my life. Until next time, thank you for tuning in, tapping in, turning on to Medium Well with Psychic Sharon Rose. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Medium Well with Psychic Sharon Rose. If you love listening to this podcast, we have one little favor to ask you. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. If you love learning from Sharon, well, she's got a few great courses that are ongoing. Why don't you register for Kitchen Witchin'? It's on now. All you have to do for more information is go to kitchenwitchin.ca. Or if you'd like to book an appointment with Sharon for a reading, or if you'd like to know more about Sharon, her psychic services, coaching sessions, and more workshops, go to SharonRose.com. That's Sharon with a Y. We'll talk to you next time.